Okay. Working. Pinkies up, bitches!
If I ever get out of this house alive, gonna set the whole goddamn place on fire. Forget about the past, the future won't last. Pretend that these stones were not meant to be thrown. If I ever get wise without putting in time, never have the fear of being alive. Forget about the past, the future won't last. Pretend that these stones were not meant to be thrown. If I ever get out of this house alive, gonna set the whole goddamn place on fire.
So, like, did y'all know that here at Caribou Heart TV and our awesome intro outro music, we are now in possession of rare, culturally awesome artifacts, and that apparently that music can no longer be found on Spotify. But we have old recordings from like I think it was on Spotify when we got those recordings. I had the one song before it went on Spotify. So it was like the day after they were on our show, right? Then they Spotified up, released the album. I think that's how that worked. Oh, you're on mute.
I think it was the week after.
I thought it was like the next day.
It might have been, but
Like,
all I know is you now have rare cuts of original music that nobody else has. Well, maybe two other people have.
That's impressive, and I think we're actually missing a song out of it too.
Oh.
I think because I have like actual songs, Windows, or whatever in there, and it's and one of them's not there.
Oh, we'll have to see if I can find that one.
I got all distracted. I saw I got a inbox notification on IG, and it wasn't either of our guests. I'm like, oh shit, they're here. They're looking to get in, and no. Cheers, Red. How you doing, brother? Lori, great to see you. J5. I've been creeping. Well, not even creeping, man. I just see your shit on Instagram prolifically, and you like all these awesome tours that we've been getting to see. The fruition is coming through, and you're posting up some great stuff, man. Awesome to see. Dags, great to see you, brother. Robert, Mr. Greenfingers. I saw that you're posting, or you've already got those Blackbirds wet in there. That didn't take you long. Once again, my apologies for taking those so long to get them in there. But yeah, they do. I've had a bad run of luck with people with like 3 people in the last, I don't know, it's been a few months now where their packages have been sent back. One person, their package has actually been sent back twice. I don't know even what the fuck to do about it because I don't think I've ever seen that person in our chat before they won that package. I don't think I've ever seen them in our live chats after they've won that package. And it's gone out and been sent back twice. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what to do. It's kind of confusing. Like, I have been speaking through them through DMs and on IG, right? But it's like, what the F, man? It sucks, but it's shit getting returned to me. And then, it was my bad for the second time getting it out, taking forever. But just ask Fluff how long it takes me to get stuff out there. It takes a while.
Fucking hot minute. I was all feeling bad because I got to get some of the last few things from giveaways done, and most of those are the international ones, and those are the expensive ones. That's why I've been waiting on that shit. And so, but it's been a week or two, so I've been feeling bad about that.
You know what? I did really good though when you got a hold of me about Jay Patrick and getting him some beans. I got his package out by the end of the following week. I think you got a hold of me on a weekend or something like that. And I think it was on a Friday, and it was out by the end of the following week. So I
Nice.
was all like, fucking, yeah, rock star out there and real proud of myself.
Very good.
And I'd love to see pictures of what you're growing there, Mr. Green Fingers, as well, man. Posting up on IG and stuff like or whatever. That's, you know, always interesting what we got going on. So I got those Liliths from Jimmy going on in my tent there. And I just went like Texas Chainsaw Massacre on males in there. I remember before I flipped them where I said I found one female that I knew was female, and I was seriously worried that the others might be out of 10 seeds. There very well might be 9 males in there. I think I might have been fucking right, dude, because I got one other plant in there. There's the one that is female for sure. One other that I think is male, but I'm leaving it in for another little bit of time just because I'm really hoping I'm wrong. And then I got that little short one, that short bushy thing that I haven't even flipped yet, but I'm also pretty sure is a male. But I'm like, no, be a female because I just like fucking love you. Hey, so 1 out of 10, but I'm excited for that. I've not had that odds in a long time. I've had that happen before, but it's been a hot minute.
I have to say, like, I feel like, well, not I feel like that was my luck when I was running Shane's Day Neutrals gear. I was almost 100% males coming out of everything that I popped out of him. Like, it finally, like, we're probably talking 20, 30 seeds before I finally popped a female out of his work. Everybody's having great luck finding all these females doing great work, and I'm struggling trying to find one fucking female come out of these things. But I finally did, and it was very nice. So,
but on the bright side, this is actually there's a really good silver lining because it's not really a bad thing. Space is a very big issue for me now. And I was hoping with out of the 10 plants that I'd only end up with maybe 3 or 4 females to choose from. So I was hoping for a lot of males. So hopefully this one verified female is going to be some hot shit and be a lot of fun to play with and keep that one around for a bit, which allows me to be able to play around with those grapple cats that I got that are just screaming, please let me out of these solo cups so that we can not be miserable in yellow anymore. They're going yellow fast. They want bigger shoes. And
yeah,
so
I got a couple in the tent right now. My Hawaiian and Black Forest are screaming at me, fucking feed me and get me out of this little fucking pot. So I hear you. Yeah, right there with you on that one. Hey, well, let's get into fucking what's G-Bay trimming on over there. Yeah, you know this is coming your way. Get them sticky fingers all over your phone.
Yeah, I know. This is some of the early Banana Daddy, the storm damage. But it's not too bad. There's some bigger buds there. It's a little scraggly right now, but yeah, I'm just getting into it. Pretty nice, actually. There's some meat to it. It's got a decent enough smell to it. It's probably only week 6 or so.
Cheers, Dan.
7. But we're getting the trays full.
Very nice. Obviously, it's a little early. Have you scoped it to see like what your cloudy kind of clear situation is?
I have not.
It doesn't matter, right? You're taking this shit as it comes.
Yeah, I'm in the stage of just damage control right now, but we fared pretty well after I went out there and band-aided everything and zip tied everything back together and tied it all to the fences and everything. I'm doing really well actually compared to what I thought. So this is just I can't let this stuff go. I'll still smoke it. If worst case scenario, I'll press it or whatever, right? So just getting along. It's mainly Banana Daddy. I got a little bit of Grape Hoolie in. I got a couple branches of BAM because some of it broke off and just wasn't coming back to life. So I got a little tape pester of everything pretty well right now. I'll show you what the setup is. Get you rocking because everyone knows I got to come down into this room fucking for habitat. So this is my little square I've cleaned up for myself back there where I'm going to put my little living space at the moment. But we get into dry alley over here. So I've got the 4x8 on this side set up. Everything's hanging in there. got the air conditioner, the little white unit. There's an air conditioner. I got a humidifier sitting in the middle of the room. That's on an Inkbird. So this tent's, it's not temperature controlled, but the AC is cranked, running constant. It stays right around 70, 68, 70, but as low as I can get it.
Jimmy, can I interrupt 1 second, brother? Endo Pharms, we see you in the back room there. It's telling us you need to hook up your mic and cam before we can add you to the stream here. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but it needs that going on before we can let you in here. But we can't wait for you to jump on with us, brother. Sorry, G-Bay. As you were, my man.
Yeah, so then we got this. This is some of the BAM hanging up here. Just some early stuff that came off the damage control. But yeah, we got another AC pumped in there. I got all the hoses up there doing all the extraction and everything. Got lots of strings hung up there for more. I can't really see the strings, but there's strings up and across there. Ooh, excuse me. So we've
You
got
just
those.
run strings to all your cross poles, and then you're just hanging off of them.
Yep.
Okay.
Fill it up, and then if I have to, I've got them out here as well. I don't really want to because, like, I'm maybe having to be in here.
You don't want to sleep under your weed, man?
No, man, spiders dropping out of that shit. I've done that before, man. I used to gorilla grow a lot, so I've been with the critters, man. I don't want to do that shit no more. I own a home now. I don't want to fucking share it with bugs and shit. And then I set this little guy up in here. I've got a Mars Hydro. Well, it's too bright to really see anything, but I got the remaining last little precious genetics in there. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I don't have to worry about bugs and stuff with my indoor-outdoor mixture when I've only got 6 little fucking plants. But who knows? We're going to get infested, I'm sure. But whatever.
Yeah, man.
But that's the system I got going there. I'm condensed at the moment, man, but we're making do.
All right, so once I know you were talking about having your little like living space right over there, so it looks like you're almost going to keep some shit fired up so you can keep going, huh? You're just going to condense yourself down into a small spot. That's where we landed.
This is where we landed. We got a 2x3 going.
Hey man, if your plants can do it, so can you.
Yeah, that's it. Right? I'm in a 2x3, so are the plants. Yeah,
I feel like the good guys just won on this one here. We've been trying to convince you not to, because you were not set, but just seriously pondering getting shutting down. So I'm like, yeah, this is a victory for gardeners everywhere. We should get the dab frog loaded up so everyone can do one.
I'll smoke to that. Fuck, knocking everything over. Sorry.
See, that's actually funny. I was commenting on this one. Fucking where are we at here?
What's this?
Magpie must be watching fucking Smart Poker or something, man.
All right.
Can't be talking about us.
Yeah.
That motherfucker obviously he's a welder and he needs to get his prescription checked and his shit must suck.
Flash burned, unscorched your eyes, homie.
Yeah, you had a rough day at work, didn't you, homie? You're supposed to put the fucking lens over the eyes when you're doing that shit. No, actually, I was laughing. Fucking this morning, I had mutants on the brain, and fucking J5 was like, "Hey, bro, check out the post." So it did, and all I saw, I don't have frost on my mind yet. That is so far away from my fucking mind right now. And so I'm looking at his picture, and it's early, and I'm fucking stoned and all that fun shit. And I'm like, holy fuck, this motherfucker's got trichomes on this guy, like, he's like, no, you dipshit, that's like frost. And I'm like, oh, good, because that's what I thought I was seeing. And I was like, but it's one of them you felt like a real dipshit in the morning. So
we had a good friend of ours fucking get actually fucking busted, right? Yeah, by the cops, and he sent me pictures of like what looked like a freshly harvested grow room. how was I to know any different? I was like all excited for him because there's actually a bunch of my genetics that he was growing. So I was like, fuck yeah, excited for smoke reports and shit like that. And I think that's when I sent him back. I was like, fuck yeah, whatever. I was like, dude, I just got raided. I'm like,
Oh, not a fuck yeah.
Like I feel sick now. like, dude, my apologies. Fuck no.
Be like, I thought this was good, but now I see the error of my ways.
Yeah, like next time, can you just at least be very blunt with me? Because I'm obviously too stupid to read into things. I do not read between the lines very well.
Right? I'm kind of a need to get smashed in the head with it to figure it out type of person. But hey, you know. Shit. So what are you boys smoking on today?
I'm smoking on the cream.
The cream, huh?
Yeah.
Where you pick that up from?
Unfortunately, the local plug.
The local plug?
Yeah. It was an emergency situation, and there was nowhere to find flour open at that time of day. So it needed to be done. Because, like, after the old lady and I got back from Weezer the next morning, I think we were, like, fresh out of weed. I think there was, like, maybe like roaches or something like that, which I wasn't looking to do that on the wake and bake. No, that's not true. We had dispensary weed for the wake and bake. That I told a lie. Okay, it must have been that night that we got it done. Because yeah, if I get a quarter of dispensary weed's not gonna last long. That makes more sense to me now.
What about yourself, G-Bay? What you smoking on this evening?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Let's just fucking find out, huh?
Let's take.
I like his attitude.
You're right. And he was ready to fucking get it too. There you go. A little shaky shake. I like it.
Shake your booty. Shake your booty. Holy fuck, plus doing dabs and shit. Is that like a hot night thing?
Yeah, man.
CS7.
CS7. So we're just gonna go ahead and put that bitch right on top of her and I'll do that one of them things right there.
I see. One sec, fellas. Endo Pharms, I can see you in the waiting room again, dude. It's saying we need you to turn your mic on and your camera. I am excited for this. If y'all remember, he was supposed to be on a few weeks ago. Shit happens, shit comes up. It's the way of life. But he was able to jump on at the end of that episode and bullshit. And I'm like, fuck, this guy is like us, 100%. So I'm really excited for this in depth, and this is gonna be fun.
Technical difficulties,
dude. This happens all the time, all the fucking time.
Yeah. So there we go. We're gonna smoke on some of the Black Forest with some of the Banana Daddy Black Widow rosin from camp.
There you go. This nugget's nice. By knocking it out again.
What you pay for zip there in BC now, Caribou?
From like plug, $100 for the ones that I know. Although I'm sure there's those out there that'll try and sell you for a lot more. And then whereas your dispensaries and stuff like that, they kind of start at about $1.30. And how much do you want to pay is kind of what you're looking for around there. Although if I go back to my hometown and you start looking at something like QPs, I can certainly find it a lot cheaper than friggin' $100 for an ounce. It's just a matter of going back to the hometown and friggin' seeing some of these people. I remember a couple of years ago, it couldn't have been long after Ashley and I got together because I know she was with me. We go back to Prince George there, and the guy that I used to we were good friends and hung out at his place all the time, but he's the guy that used to sell me weed in high school, right? I hadn't seen him in fucking years, like probably more than 15, but not quite 20 years. And we go back, and now he's like out on his own and stuff like that. But instead of living in his mom's basement, he now has a place. His mom's living with him. And instead of in the basement, it's out in the garage, the leather couches and stuff, right? He's got a Corvette Stingray fucking parked in the garage and all this shit. And it's still fucking sitting around fucking just smoking joints and shit like that. And I'm just like, this is like the good version of like when they say it's, what is it? Reassuring the way some things never change. Because this is a guy that he's fucking gone on and done pretty well for himself in life. And, you know, has some nice things. Oh, hey, I see the man right there.
I got it.
There we go. We got it figured out. How you doing? Just so anyone knows, this is not the high school plug I was just referring to.
Yeah, what's up, dudes?
How you doing, man? Good to see you. Finally got
Not
you
too
on.
bad. Not too bad at all. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Doing well. So let's get right to the good stuff. What are you smoking tonight?
Let's see here. I still got no volume. Trying to figure that out.
Can you hear us? I take that as a no. Okay. Fluff, use the force.
I can't even answer this. There's like a wild delay.
Okay, so like I'm talking.
I can hear
and
you
then
now, yeah.
An hour later. Try and bounce out and come back in one more time. See if that does it.
I can't even answer this. There's like a wild delay.
Okay, so like
I can hear you now.
Oh, and do you have YouTube on in the background? Because that's good.
Yeah, I hear you like about 35, 40 seconds after.
Okay.
All right, I'll do that.
And we lost Fluff too.
Uh-oh.
Everybody's leaving us, G-Bay.
Yeah, don't rely on me, bro. I'm working over here.
But at least it's fun to watch. Everyone's
Yeah,
like,
kinda.
I think I'll stop me yet.
The
So
beginning.
Wasn't just me who fucking crashed.
No.
Was that like fucking everybody's shit went and got a little fucking tweaky there or what?
So, trimming started on the 8th, October 8th. We'll see how long this goes for.
So trimming season has been extended for you.
Well, this might turn into a good thing. A little bit of early harvest, a little early trim. I mean, you know, this might put you in the game fucking to be done right there at the middle of October or the middle of November.
A couple of the girls out there still need to still want to suntan a little longer.
Do you ever like think you're home alone and all of a sudden hear thundering up the stairs and be
Yeah, dude, it's always my fucking cat.
my old lady? I hope it's my old lady that just walked into the bathroom. Otherwise, I want to have a real awkward conversation with someone. But it's just like kind of like, because you know, like I wasn't expecting her home yet, and it was all of a sudden you just hear, I'm like, what the fuck is like? And then you see her go into the bathroom. As like I said, I'm sure it's her, and it's like, oh, okay, I feel better now.
Bro, we're like, it'll be me and my old lady sitting here, and we know damn good and well the kid's not home, and it sounds like my kid comes hauling ass down the stairs. Which, I mean, that's not like, it's like an adult. It's an adult coming down the fucking stairs. But like, if my fucking cat does that, it's like we've both looked at each other and been like, are you sure he's not home? Like, and then the cat will just come fucking pouncing around the corner, like, what's up, guys? It's like, holy fuck, dude. Like, how are you so loud? You're so little.
Temptations.
When
Right?
Ashley and I first got together, she had this cat named Phoebe, and it was like the most love meest cat you're ever gonna fucking meet. and she was like not a particularly big cat, but she was dense, and like she would step on you, and it would like actually like not like hurt, but like it was more forceful than a cat normally is, and you're just like.
I had this little Siamese. She was the cutest little motherfucker in the world. But the way my son always referred to her was like a potato on toothpicks. And that's what it felt like when she was crawling on you, too. It was like, because there was way too little bit of feet for the fucking amount of mass that little motherfucker had to her. So it was like every time she pushed into you, it was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, how are you that pokey?
My cat Juju was like that, but she was more like a bag of fat on sticks. Like she was big and round, and her legs like pointed inwards because, like, I don't know. And then they're just tiny little feet. This big fat cat. Oh, poor Juju.
All right, now we need your camera and your mic again.
Hey, Endo Pharms. I don't know if you're on a phone or a computer, but you know if you're looking down there, you should be able to just push the mic and the camera down there and start them up. Or, right, sometimes I don't know if you know that, but or it's just the computer being all fucky. What's the one that it doesn't work on, like Safari or something? So if you're on like or did they get that fixed a long time ago? I don't know.
I can't remember because fortunately it works on my system, so I've never had that issue to have to remember it is what I'm getting at, right? This is.
I think they fixed it right after I stopped using my MacBook. So
I switched it to what they wanted, and they fixed the problem.
Yeah, exactly. That's how that fucking works out.
Starting to pile up, though.
First pile up. So you said you were trimming on what right now?
This is the Banana Daddy times Black Widow.
Okay, so what are you getting off of it? Smell wise, all that good shit.
Just a nice sweet. It reminds me of just that, like, you know, the good outdoor. When you put it in a paper and light it, it's not going to condense much more, and it's going to just stink. It's gonna light up good. There's no skunking. There's nothing really jumping out at me. It's like any crazy terps, but
yeah, I can't say I remember that.
It's kind of more
hazy.
on the fruity, you know, sweet side, but it's pretty early, this stuff, so it's not really.
Yeah, I could never figure out how to fucking describe what it was. I know how I feel like it tastes when it smokes, but that does not translate to the same thing I smell when I smell it. So
could have used 3 more weeks easy.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ma Nature has decided differently, though.
Yeah, she just took this one down for me, but I got some nugs on there right now that have been, you know, they've been up there for the extra 2 weeks now or so, whatever it is, you know, 10 days. So I'm just out there every single day watching for rot, picking apart the buds and just ripping leaves off by the handful, going around every plant doing it. And so far, so good. I don't have any major rot issues. I may have some internal on some of the big buds that I can't see yet or haven't noticed, but I'm pretty good at picking that shit out now because I've dealt with it for so long. Yeah, I've been in there pretty well fine-tooth comb on all my main colas. Good to go for a couple more days. Mendo breast coming down next. It's purpling out. It's finishing up. The tips of the buds are getting all different colors to them. You can just see the finishing up on the Mendo breast compared to, like, say, the garlic or the wedding cake, which is like walking way behind. So I'm stoked on that. Oh, there you go. I'm stoked on that because I need stuff to come down. It's just been wet, cold, and rainy for days now. Like, I'm flabbergasted I don't have more problems than I do. So Lost Coast, I guess I used that throughout the summer a few times. I did some sulfur about a month or so back. I haven't really done anything to the plants though in about 4 or 5 weeks, you know, since they've been flowering for, you know, they're into week 6 and 7 now. I did some work, you know, the first couple of weeks of flower, but that was it. Now once they set up, I left them alone. Good
trichome coverage will do a lot for you.
But yeah. Well, and I did the BT the Bacillus thuringiensis israeliensis for the caterpillars. Got that done too. So I haven't seen any.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, man, fucking caterpillars alone, just keeping them little bastards off of your plant can be the difference between a fucking pound of, and in a harvest, man. Just by keeping a few caterpillars off.
I've had one.
Do
I
so
don't
much
like to,
damage.
yeah, I don't like to admit it, but I've pulled one out of a fucking cured jar of weed before.
Oh yeah,
Little fucker was still thriving. He was crawling out, little orange.
I jarred one up. This had been fucking years and years ago, man. I jarred some fucking weed up, and it sat back for a while. And when I came back and looked at it, I thought it had molded, but it hadn't molded. What it was this big ass fucking spider had made a home because he was still living in that shit when I harvested, and he made it through everything. And well, he was starting to get a little pissed off living in that jar, but he was making a home and a big old web inside that motherfucker.
Yeah,
Apparently, he
like,
must have been eating some other shit that was in them buds. Because,
Dude, that's a trip.
yeah, because I turned it around and all of a sudden I found him in there. I was like, oh Jesus, fuck! Scared the shit out of me. I damn near dropped it, broke the jar, which I would have had to burn the house down. You know what I'm saying? Because
that's like total like Rasta spider and shit like that. He probably had like dreadlocks and shit.
He was just like, hey man, no, we good.
Yeah. He's all happy as shit. He's like a vegan spider, just like living in
a vegan spider.
Little
sitting there chewing on some fucking trikes every once in a while.
Yeah. I got a question for our chat here. So our guest, I don't know what kind of phone he's running, but he's been trying to get on. He sees the buttons for the microphone and the camera and stuff like that. It's not working for him when he hits them. Do we know anybody that knows more about phones and stuff than we do? We're excited to get this dude on here, but the force is against us from time to time. But we aim to solve this and get him on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Anyone that knows anything about phones and podcasting more than us, which really isn't that hard. We're pretty prolific too, but we're not knowledgeable in that prolificy.
Don't include me in any of that nonsense.
Oh, I don't. I know you.
Yeah,
I don't know what big words you just used, but I don't like them, and don't fucking call me that again.
Yeah. You're pro, whatever.
Yeah, you're a pro fucking lific
Lifer, whatever it was.
Yeah.
No.
You're a pro fallacy, fucker.
Cheers, Lobster. Cheers, Jason. Cheers, Jeff. Bro. Hooli.
Oh yeah, Hooli. Shout out to Hooli, the grape Hooli that I had in my yard. I don't know how widespread the phenotypes are in those little paper sacks of seeds he was giving people, but fuck, man, that weed smells good. Like if you want grapey smelling weed, like it smells like candy. Like it literally does. And it grew nice big giant nugs, big huge fan leaves on it.
Can you hear us now?
Oh, great. I finally figured it out and I got no volume.
Oh, we can hear you?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
We're testing 1, 2. But yeah, shout out to Hooli and the Great Hooli. Good job.
How about now?
Can you hear me now?
We're getting there. Well, at least we're staring at somebody different on the screen.
Well, by the end of the show, we'll have this figured out solid for next week. Guaranteed.
Oh, man. Fucking 3-4 more weeks. We might actually get to talk to this dude.
3 or 4 more weeks.
I fucking hate technology. Why can't it just work every time? That was the best timing ever. All right. Are you able to hear us now?
I just can't get no volume.
Huh. We just had mad feedback coming out of your screen. At least I am assuming it was his screen. Did you guys hear that like I did? Fucking hate technology. Fucking hate technology. Fucking hate technology. I'm like, Whoa.
Oh, that was the Matrix. Or what was the other? It was Inception. That was some Inception type shit.
Dude,
I've
it all
never seen
sounded
that.
like computer glitchy and shit like that. My voice and stuff like that. Fucking those fucking albino twins are gonna jump out of my fucking computer any second.
I don't like that at all. That sounds
Either do
horrible.
Keanu, save me. Save me, Keanu. It's like Tom Cruise.
Keanu! If Keanu can't do it, no one can. Well, fucking shit. God, never mind. I can't think of that fucking South Park reference. Well, who's the fucking guy who can do it? Shit. Anyway.
Brian Botano.
Thank you.
What would Brian Botano do?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was it.
Can you dudes hear me now?
You betcha. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now, finally.
Victory.
All right,
Awesome.
tighten it up, boys. We got a fucking guest. No more of this fucking shenanigans.
It's like
Yeah.
shit. Everything's working. What do we do now?
Well, guys, panic. Think of questions.
So, sorry for all the delays and shit like that, but believe me, this is not just a thing for you. Tech issues happen steady around here, so it's just the way shit works. Let's get to the good stuff. What are you smoking right there?
Oh, I'm gonna break your heart right now. I'm smoking tobacco from the Indian lands.
Okay, not what we thought, but we can deal with that. It is what it is.
No, but there's a rotation going on with the Alaskan Thunderfucks and a bunch of others. Well, I mean, kind of in line with breeding projects, right?
Yep.
Things
Man,
I'm working with. That acai gelato is still going strong right now. We're just trying to, tinker around with stuff that's close to those genetics, just kind of figure out what's going to happen when these plants come down.
Yep. I hear that. How's your season looking? We're guessing you're an outdoor grower.
No, indoor, outdoor, but
Okay, a little both.
yeah, no, it hasn't been a good year for me, but that's that had to do with relocation and relationship stuff, right?
Yep.
Like I'm in a new place with my lady, and we're just figuring new stuff out and whatnot. So
life has a tendency to get in the fucking way, doesn't it?
oh yeah, I mean, I've worked in the oil fields where I couldn't grow. Like it's, like I'm doing projects when I can, and then sometimes employment and career stuff gets in the way and whatnot. So it can kind of be off and on again every once in a while. But we're getting things set up right now. Like it's, it's still been a good season, but certainly not ideal.
Yeah, I hear that.
You know,
Did you get nailed by that storm that just went through? Like G-Bay's sitting there trimming up stuff that got nuked during that storm about a week ago.
Yeah, I'm in northwestern Ontario here, so I'm right on the border of Minnesota. And we didn't get big storm. We just got windstorms. Like it was tossing all the plants around everywhere. But they had already been through that this year a couple of times. And I'm fine with that. I mean, because I stress test my plants all the time. So to me, it's kind of funny, because I don't know, maybe I have good luck, but my plants typically live through everything. We get tornadoes and stuff, and so some of the plants have odd structures because they broke branches, and I fix those up and whatnot. But it wasn't too bad. The one complaint I would have is it stunted the growth of a lot of plants. They get so focused on recovery, right?
Right. Yeah, it gets rough when you lose a fucking day here, a fucking 3 days there, a week here,
Yeah, and we had days with like fucking 10 inches of rain. Everything's way overwatered.
That's a hard recovery too, man. Like I don't give a shit what system you're in. Overwatering is always a bitch, especially when it's outside.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's a nuisance for sure, but it does show me how strong the genetics are. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, we didn't lose any plants, so that's a great sign, right? But it did definitely affect their growth structure and how big they will be, how they'll yield. It's even the ATF E1 and the ATF E2s. It's really fucked with their flowering time, so I can't even really truly indicate like what a flower season for those plants would be. You know, because it's become so delayed. I mean, right now, you know, obviously it's more of a hybrid, sort of a land race. Like Alaskan Thunderfuck's not really a strain; it's just a geographical location, right? So you're never 100% sure what you're going to get, but it's indica leaning or broadleaf leaning. But the flower time has been ridiculous. It's got to be on like day 80 right now, and it's still got weeks. We got weeks to finish them.
That's scary.
You know, it's like they're coming up on sativa times here. You know, like
Right, real interesting to be a broadleaf plant like that, but have such a long flowering time. It
But
seems
you know what
like medicine I'd like to get into.
Well, but that's the thing. I have to re-go through it because I'm not sure if it was
Right.
the flowering time was indicative of the weather or if that's truly the genetic potential. You know what I mean? So at this point, like by the time I finish this up, I couldn't tell you what the flowering time is accurately.
Right.
It's all going to have to be reworked and gone through, which was the plan anyway. So we'll see what we come up with. And, you know, as we're getting the new grow room and everything set up, we'll have a much better, like through the winter, it's going to be a great season for us.
So is like the ATF the base to what you're working on currently?
Yeah, if you followed any of my breeding work, like I'm always trying to start with land race genetics and then tinker from there. You know, so I've done I've done a line with Black Afghani. I've done a line with the Deep Chunk F12. You know, I'm always looking for like really good, solid core genetics to begin with. You know, just to avoid these crazy polyhybrids and you know, because it gets crazy. If you're starting out with polyhybrids, I mean, your F1 expressions are just going to be through the roof. You know what I mean? You can have 100 plants, and every 100, they might all be completely different. You know what I mean? But if you're starting with landrace and then you're bringing them to a new geographical location, you really get to see a great expression of it, but at least it's consistent. You know,
Right.
if that makes sense. So, and I'm in a very weird growing area here up in northwestern Ontario. We have a very short outdoor season. We have a lot of tornadoes. We have high humidity. We have high temperatures and extreme lows too. You know, it can be 110 degrees one day and then it's 50 the next day. So anything that I'm breeding with, like, it's nice because if anything's going to hurt me or anything like that, I'd know about it right away. And thank God I didn't have to deal with any of that stuff this year. So it's showing really good genetic potential.
Nice. So, yeah, I don't remember. I tried working with it a few years back, and I did end up having it herm out on me. I never could track down like the origin of the genetics. It was just, you know, I got handed a pack of ATF, and I got stoked. So, you know, they got fucking wet, and I started to do some work, and it just, you know, ended up being a shit show. So it's nice to hear somebody working with it. It's not a strain I hear about often, and I've been a fan, at least of the strains from the area, for a long time.
Yeah. Well, sorry to hear that too, by the way. It always sucks when your plants hermy. But I mean, this round of plants has gone through everything you could throw at it, and there's been no hermy issues. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, going back to like breeding selections, I'm always trying to pick something that's kind of like, at least in today's market, it's overshadowed. I mean, like, you're not going to talk to a dude that smokes and they wouldn't know ATF, you know? But really, like, you know, if you scroll through all your favorite breeders on and growers on IG or whoever you're talking to, like, I don't see anyone working it right now.
Can't think of anyone.
You know what I mean? So that's always in my mind with my projects too. Like, what's no one working with?
Yep, absolutely. That's totally understandable. It seems like we got like a million pollen chuckers out, more than that. Like everybody's a pollen chucker to some degree, it seems, myself included. So yeah, if you want to differentiate yourself, I think I love the way there's. I imagine there's been dudes like you around for a lot longer than I realize. Thanks to Jimmy for like introducing us to guys like you, because it's like him and like he's brought on a lot of dudes now where like yourself, they're starting with a landrace genetic base. Everybody's got a little bit something different that they're choosing to work with as their bases, and then from there they're expanding outwards, right? And I like that, because we've, as long as this show's been around, or this podcast, we bitch about the muddy water genetics that are created by everybody who chucks pollen.
Well, I can say a couple things about that. Like, I mean, pollen chucking it's kind of a funny phrase, because I mean, there's a lot of people that are just growing and they need to get seeds to regrow, right? So they kind of fuck around and see whatever they find, or what. They're not really a breeder. They're just looking for something, you know, and if they happen to come across something cool, then they try selling seeds, but they really don't know how all this shit works, you know. And, you know, I've pollen chucked on certain plants with no breeding intentions, just to get seeds to make sure I have them in store. You know what I mean? Like, one day I might fuck around with these. Our homie might be out of seeds and need something. You know, I'm always a big fan of preservation. Anyone in cannabis should always try to preserve what they've grown. You know, take notes, growing notes, whatever it is, and just have them around. You never know, right? But again, I'll go to Jimmy. Like, I kind of say, I've always kind of said, like, I have a circle of people that I trust and have worked with, or at least I've grown their gear, you know. And Jimmy's one of those dudes for probably like the last 8 to 10 years. I mean, there's nothing he does that's whack, you know. And then for me, it's Mantis Genetics, Seattle Chronic, Turf Fiend. You know, there's probably about 10, 12 different guys that sometimes we're working genetic lines together, and other times we're just kind of progressing each other's lines, or we're hitting each other up for certain genetics. But those are dudes I trust 100% of the time, you know, and they're doing a lot of really unique work. You know, shout out to Seattle Chronic. Like, I've never seen a breeder be so good at manipulating cannabinoids and rare terpenes, and, you know, he does a crazy good job. And then Mantis does a lot of unique work that's all very stable. Some of my favorite strains, like Sour Melon and Lucille's OG, is from Mantis Genetics. And then you got a guy like Terpene, who's just kind of doing weird shit that ends up being more on the aisle of you know, like a quote unquote hype strain, but he's doing it really good, and he's doing it with things that you wouldn't expect him to be doing with it. So it's kind of cool. Like, everybody has their little niche, you know what I mean? And I'm kind of the guy in there that's doing a little bit of all that, you know. Like, they influence me a ton.
Yeah, it's cool getting to run out and to like run through the all these new breeders that we're getting to see here. What do you got working right now that just got you excited? Where you're like, you think this might be the next cool thing for you to pop out there for people?
Well, this kind of goes against my core, because I don't do this often, but I got a couple of great winners of that acai gelato. And those are like with a cross that I would have never considered before, but for whatever reason, I popped them this year. And they're coming out with some real winners in flower right now. But again, like I said, it's not really my style to mess around with too many hype strains, and I'd consider that a hype strain. But they're mold resistant. They grow easy. They have fast flowering times. They're throwing out some really cool terps. Like right now, it's kind of like a grape Kool-Aid gasoline, which is like weird. Like it's weird to have like the fruity flavor with a sweet gas, and then it kind of has like a back end skunk kind of thing. So that's going to be something I'll work with this winter too. But
That
again,
reminds me of when you make that description. That's what reminds me of just the old gelatos. The things that I look for when I wanted a good gelato. That was the exact basic description right there. It was fucking fuel with some, a very complex, fruit profile, and then a little bit of funk somewhere sprinkled up in that shit. Absolutely love that profile.
Oh, and they've been fun plants to grow because the terpene profile is kind of, 1 week it would be just like an old school pure skunk, like an 81 skunk. And then you get hyped on that. And then it seemed like a week or two later, it started just going real heavy grape, like a chemical grape, and it would ride on that for 10 days. And then all of a sudden you'd start getting the gas. And then now later in flower, they're all starting to just kind of come back, but combine together. So when you're growing to make selections and breeds, like that's kind of a rare thing to see something that's changing its terp profile all the time, but it's exciting because I haven't had the chance to work with too many plants like that. And also I should shout out, I think the originals of those came from Savage Genetics. So I think off the top of my head, it's a Gelato 33 times Hooligans cross. And the Hooligans cross is GDP. Oh, geez, it's blowing my mind, but it's a GDP cross. But it's escaping my mind what it's crossed to right now.
There's a lot of big GDP fans in our live chat right now watching. Fluff's a big fan of it. So I don't think I've ever worked with that one myself, or grown it. I mean, I know I've never worked with it for breeding wise, but it's one that I would love to get my hands on at some point in time. Just seems like everybody that touches it has nothing but awesome things to say about it.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you go back in time, pretty much everyone's a fan of Grape Stomper, right? So, GDP is always going to be a legendary strain.
Yeah, I'd agree. And it's one, I pretty much don't turn it down if someone's got it. That's for damn sure.
So on these acai gelatos right now, you got the insane rhubarbing, with the anthocyanins that are just transferring into the flower. These plants are going to finish almost black. It's going to be purple hues with black fan leaves. Everything's going to be partially black. And that's something I mean, it's, again, with terpenes and cannabinoids, it's not going to be indicative for sure of the medicinal component of it, but it's a pretty damn good start when you start seeing those anthocyanins being so high in there.
I love the look of the bud.
It's always going to be a favorite to grow because it just looks awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a huge fan. Any plant I can grow that comes out being black even for personal use, I'm just a huge fan of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing to me how you can have so on one hand here you could have a plant that's just so bright green. It's and then over here it's literally is black, and then you get everything in the middle there too. It's really cool. It's the wonders of being a gardener, and then you get people that don't understand gardening. They don't, it's just not their thing or whatever. They're like, well, I don't get it. And it's like, man, but look at it. It's purple. This one's black.
Yeah.
But
So those two that I say gelato, I'm gonna F2 that. The ATF E1 and E2, those are two different phenotypes of the ATF. I'm gonna F2 those, and then what I have as my keeper male right now is a Sinai landrace. So that's gonna be crossed into all of them. So, and those are just throwing super thick broadleaves.
So what's up with that one? Tell us about that Sinai landrace.
I can't speak too much on it because it's given to me from a homie that legit got those from Egypt. But then again, you're dealing with a land race, so like you gotta just learn the plant. And I can tell you right now, though, it's very broadleaf and it's very skunk dominant. Very skunk dominant. But it's a resilient plant, and I mean it's been through all those tornadoes and crazy floods and stuff too, and didn't even give a shit. And right now it's just starting to turn purple. I knew it was going to do that from the early on signs, which always kind of piques your curiosity. But it's stacked as a male, and one of the reasons I decided on this male was that it wasn't a huge storm and got tossed out of the yard, broke a stem, and I literally just held it back together, put some duct tape on it. It was a self-top plant too, by the way. And where it split in the self-topping, I used electrical tape, taped it back together, and then it seemed to grow like almost two different plants. It was like the one branch was showing a whole bunch of different parts than the other main branch. And I just thought, like, wow, that's cool. That'll be something that's fun to work with. Plus, I know it's strong and it's got the potential on one side to turn purple, the other side's bright green.
that's trippy. Is it the broken side that has the purple?
Yeah.
So it's maybe a stress inducer thing.
Yeah, that's the safe bet, right?
Yeah.
You never really know, but it'll be fun to work with. And as a breeder, it kind of stokes you out to see something different. That's something I'd never seen before. A male that's purple on one side and bright green on the other.
Yeah, that ain't no shit.
Only times I could think I've really seen that is where I've had my grow situation is like really cold on the outside or whatever, and never really gets as warm, and it takes you a bit to realize. And a lot of those plants start turning a bit purple when they're in flower on the outside, where stuff that's getting warm, not so much. But different than what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean that's always a possibility too, right? Like you're just talking about the environmental situations.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always the thing, hey, where people start cooling down plants to get a different fade and whatnot. But it's cool to see that this one was just naturally, it was weather induced, but naturally occurring. It's in the exact same environment as the other side.
Right. What happened to a major stressor? The fact that that's what that did. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, looking into it, if that one side still is staying green, if it has split so far to the fact that it can't draw the nutrients or the right amount, now it's just making up with the anthocyanins to replace I don't know, fucking, it'd be kind of interesting. I'd have to think about how that fucking works. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, but see,
that's a cool reaction, definitely, to the stress, though. If you wanted to if you could predict that, accurately every time, you could make some really cool shit with that.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. But now you can see why I kept it as my keeper male, right? So,
yeah,
it'll be fun to work with and see what can be replicated, what can't be replicated. You know, the
Yeah.
other traits that come in on the plants that it pollinates, see what the dominant traits are.
All right.
So
It's
are you-
always fun to see how that male translates into what you can see just absolutely translates and what just gets kicked right to the side,
Well, and the funny thing is when you're breeding, right? Like it's almost if you're running numbers on your plants and how you pollinate, it's fairly accurate to say like the male will produce about 20 to 25% of its trait to the female. And then but you always find a couple females that have been pollinated that all of a sudden just take like 80% of the male, progeny. So I
And
don't
then
know.
you just have
Breeding,
some of those strains that are just it doesn't matter what you do, male, female, it's just what's gonna fucking be the bully and show you that it's gonna be what jumps out anyway. So
oh yeah,
and then you got those.
yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
It definitely happens, and then you got to go through and grow a bunch and make your selections and move on from there. Like I'll have F1 progeny here, within about 5 weeks, and I don't mind shooting some of those off. I mean, they're F1s, it's like a $25 pack kind of thing. Like check it out, see what you can do with it, see what kind of if you can find a keeper. But in all reality, like the real versions of whatever this produces, if it does produce, will be like 2026, 2027. You know what I mean? It's the plant still
Right.
has to be worked a few times over. It's nothing about breeding's a quick process.
Nope. I've always been a fan of that one myself, kind of keeping it slow and steady and really keeping an eye on what's fucking happening so that, you can try to accurately depict what is happening, to this next generation. And, without paying enough attention to it, you just, you pass right by some of the really important fucking aspects of it.
Yeah.
Like personally, something like I said, train wreck being one of them. If I wouldn't breed with it because it has a tendency to just turn everything into fucking train wreck. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those where, but you don't know until you fucking try it that once, maybe twice, and you go, all right, fuck this plant. Like it just, it's more hassle than it's worth to try to fucking work. It's kind of where it's gonna be, and now it's being a dick.
Yeah. Well, see, exactly what you're explaining though is like where my selection process, I tend to benefit from it because we're working in a group of breeders, right? So we have a lot less mistakes up front, and it saves a ton of time. Do you know what I mean? So we're working with very similar genetics, sometimes the same genetics, but different projects. And then when anyone makes a mistake, it's shared 10 times over. Well, guess what? Now your selection process has eliminated 10 mistakes. We all benefit from it, right? So that's again why I refer to that circle of people I trust. Like if there were, say, theoretically they're working a train wreck like you mentioned, I mean, if they can't fuck with it, then it's already eliminated from my brain to even try to work anything.
There you go. Yeah, and that's kind of the way I look at it too. It's nice. It's nice to know that information.
Yeah.
That it's
Just data collection, right?
exactly.
And then, reducing your risk by eliminating, poor decision making. So I've been pretty good in the last 7-ish years of not really having any problems with my plants. I've had no Hermes. I haven't had any infestations with pests. It's been pretty friggin' smooth, but that's because of the transfer of information. I can tell you right now, this Sinai, and it doesn't shock me, but the Sinai male it takes like 2 gallons of water a day, and then it's perfectly dry at the end of the day. It's insane how much water it needs.
Right.
But again, though, the genetics are from Egypt, so it doesn't it doesn't surprise me.
That does make sense, I guess. I have a Hawaiian snow, which I grew a different pheno of this previously, and that thing was similar to what you said. Like it could go through gallons a day, and then if you don't keep that thing caught up, then it's gonna go hydrophobic on you. It seems seemingly like that. And at one point in time, I had the tray that it was sitting in. I just like bottom fed that, and this thing bobbed up in there like a cork for about a day and a half. And before I was like, what the fuck, got to the point where it actually would not take the water. I think I had to stab up the soil or something like that and top feed it to get it reestablished. It was just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's certain plants are like that. So the acai gelato is doing really friggin' well with waterings of maybe half a gallon like every fourth day. And the ATFE2s are a gallon of water once a week.
That's pretty broad spectrum of what they will take in a day or over the course of a week. Put it that way.
That's the thing. I mean, you can ask Jimmy too. Like when you're breeding, you're taking all the calculations into effect, right? So when you end up with your end product or a satisfied product, maybe you're still working it, but it's acceptable to go to the masses. At least you have calculated all the data so you can transfer it over to the growers that purchase it, right? And that's where, like, even in today's market, it's fucked right up, because if you look at some of the mass producers and they're telling you like, oh, we have a 56-day finisher, but they don't tell you fuck all about indoor, outdoor, hydroponic, what the fuck they're feeding them, because you got crazy salt growers. And again, I'm not shitting on salt growers, but I don't use any nutrients other than fish shit. But you're not really getting reliable data.
I feel like a vast majority of breeders that are telling you their genetics are finishing anything under the 10 weeks are generally full of shit anyways. It seems like, especially when I first started growing and like actually was looking for fast finishers. Now I don't care which way I really go, but it seemed like every pack of seeds would tell you finishes in 8 weeks. And every time it's like, nah, you got to add like 2 weeks onto that. So I don't think you're getting reliable information on that. Just like you're saying there.
But then again, going back to why I said I would release the F1s for a cheap cost is because if you sell 100 packs or something, you're just, as a breeder, you're hoping like maybe 20 of those growers pop them right away, 10 even. And hopefully they're in different climates. And hopefully they're keeping an eye on plants like you do, and they're able to give you back reliable information on how their grows are going. Because like one thing a lot of people don't understand is like, we're dealing with phenotypes all the time. And when you're breeding, you're starting with the genotype, right? Or hopefully you are. Well, to you are for sure. You're starting with your own genotype. And then as you're creating the phenotypes, like the genetic expression changes with every climate that it's introduced to. So it has to go out there before you can realize like what the genetic potential is, right? I mean, what someone's growing in Arizona ain't going to be the same as Northwestern Ontario. It's not going to be the same as Egypt or Nepal, or, it's just doesn't work that way. The weather dictates different phenotypes, right? And that's why you'll see like wild different expressions of something, unless it's an inbred line for a few years in one location where you can really, really nail it down through like an F4, F5. You're going to keep getting different phenotypes no matter where you put that plant.
Yeah. Cheers, Roseville.
But that's kind of the dudes that I'm sure you've all seen that, like how come I seen those pictures of that plant and then I grew it and it looks nothing like that? Those guys are con artists. Generally speaking, you can't say they are. You're just growing it in a different environment.
Well, I've seen a lot of getting back to like new growers and stuff like that, where you maybe don't have your shit dialed in or whatever, and like you're bitching about this plant doesn't look like the picture, but like what you're growing is clearly not a healthy plant at this point, you know.
But you'll also see like the thing that would automatically tip you off is say you're growing like a super broadleaf black Afghani, right? And that's what you purchase for seeds, and then all of a sudden you're getting like a 16-week super narrow leaf finisher. Like, well, yeah, then you got fucked over, dude. Yeah. But you know, the genetic expression is still going to show you like very similar traits. You know, like as long as you're paying attention, you'll be able to see how close they are. But the only thing that's changing the picture is the environment that it's grown in.
Right, to actually get to see the phenotypical expression of the plant finally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Rather than the genotypical expression, which most of us are usually talking about when we fucking talk about what we want to see. You're actually talking about the legit, definition of the phenotypical to get it here, grown here, see what the expression is there, grown there, grown that style, see what the expression is there, grown over here. Yeah, to get all of that. Right. That's and there's a lot of information to be had from there. And like you said, it's important. It's one thing that that I would like to try to do with genetics that I'm working on as well, though, is do the work to get it to that, F6, F7 stage where you've hunted it the whole route through to where when I finally hand somebody a seed and say, you just grow this son of a bitch and this is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And I find that to be something that I look for more in genetics, at least nowadays. I guess even coming up was I really would like to know what I'm fucking getting, especially at the, when I buy my fucking tomato seeds, I expect all kinds of variation between my tomatoes, and I'm buying them for fucking $3 for 150 of them. And as soon as this becomes more of that style of gardening, then I won't worry about the expression I get out of my F1s or any of my genetics at that point. I will throw that caution to the wind. But when someone's going to charge me, $10 a seed, you better fucking tell me what I'm putting in the ground because I want to know.
Oh yeah, I mean, but people pay good money for this stuff too, right? So you should be, as a breeder or whoever's the person doing the work, you should be 100% upfront and honest about what you can expect out of the plant, right?
Right.
And I mean, the more information, the better, and then just own up to. I mean, don't release a product that you don't stand by. Like I said, with me releasing F1s coming up here soon, I'll be 100% honest about that. Like, I don't know what's going to happen because this is your first filio generation coming out. So I can tell you what I think to expect, but I can also say you might get wild genetic expressions. But one thing I can say is that they're unlikely to herm because they've been through all the stressors I've put them through and walked through like a champion.
Right.
So, but you see that with other breeders too. Like the guys I deal with are real honest, upfront dudes. But you see so many people not really talking about that. And then you get and not being honest about it. And then for certain seed runs, you'll see all these people saying that does nothing but herm. That's not even that big of an issue in our community. There's so many good growers and breeders now that if you're running into all these herm problems, it's time to start turning around and looking at yourself. Because the shit I make, I'm proud of. I'm not releasing a bunch of herm leading genetics. I would never do that. And all the breeders I know and deal with, they're not doing that either. So if you're coming up with all these herm problems, maybe it's time to start taking a look around at, your process.
There you go. That's very good, very well said right there, Rusty. I agree very, very much with this. Because that is the problem when you see them premium guys who were like, yeah, we got these testers for sale. Hey man, if you wanna pay to fucking test for some guy who's got a fucking name, have at her. But
Yeah, see, okay,
that's not me.
I just seen that dude's comment. So he's kind of echoing what I'm saying. Like, I'll release the F1s at like $25 for 15, 20 seeds. Like, have at her. Let me know how it goes for you. Send all the feedback you can. I appreciate it. But and then other strains I've never released the F1s. It just depends. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you cross that shit out, you make that F1 and you just you pop a fucking handful of them for yourself and you go, fuck that plant.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Done that more than a couple times.
Like I said, though, as long as the breeder's being honest about it and stuff, then there's no harm in that. I mean, there's a bunch of F1s that get released all the time and people are charging $250 a pack. And not only that, they're outsourcing who's making the seed.
Right? The guy who you're buying his genetics ain't even making his own fucking genetics.
No, that happens all the time, man. I mean, ask yourself, how are these dudes providing that many seeds? Sometimes it's not even possible. And then, not to get into the dark side, but then you also have to deal with shit that's just relabeled.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to hit your breeder up that you got the seeds from and be like, can you tell me like at least the basic genetic expressions? You're not going to get a fan leaf that has, let's say, 14 teeth and then all of a sudden someone's got a plant that was apparently your seed and it starts growing like freak show. That's not even going to, do you know what I mean though?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you got this plant that doesn't even look fucking close to the seeds you bought. That's where shit starts going wacky.
Right.
And I'm not going to name the breeder, but I did a project where I had like 223 seed or 223 plants and in an outdoor grow. And I seen everything from fucking auto flowers to sativas. It's like, what the fuck is going on here, man? This is clearly just a mixed bunch of seeds. Like, not one plant was uniformly grown. It was a huge waste of time and resources. It was heartbreaking. Took me a whole season to find out that those seeds were trash.
That, unfortunately, that is a game that you play sometimes, especially if you don't know where you're getting seeds from. My mom is like, bless her heart, she tries to buy cannabis seeds for like my dad every once in a while to grow out, and I'll go up there. They'll come in like a little plastic baggie with just some like random digit serial number code on there, and it's like, well, what are these? And she'll blah 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 strain. And it's like, well, where'd you get them from? Like, well, I don't know, like just somewhere online. And then it's like, you have no possible way of verifying what that is. You can't even tell me where you got them from to go back and ask these people that. Jimmy too can. You get a hold of him and start sending him pictures or posting up, and he's telling you which phenos look like what. Like, right?
He's a great breeder, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. But that's what I'm trying to get at. That's why I pride myself in being able to get a hold of someone like his gear and grow it, because you see what he's doing out there, and very like you said, you're proud of your work, right? He's another one of those dudes that's proud of his work, wants to show you, and the enthusiasm shows. Like, as soon as you start chatting him up about his stuff, it becomes a conversation. It's not just 1 or 2 word answers, right? It's like all of a sudden, okay, I just started something.
Yeah, it's proper as fuck is what I call it. But
I agree.
If you're looking on, I want to get back to another point too after this, but one thing you should really keep an eye on is like what the people are posting on their IG, if that's what you're following. If they keep posting pictures of the same plants, It's because they're fucking paying attention to detail, and it's because they're creating a backlog of information of what the plant did at that time. It's a very simple way to just say, here's the picture of X times X, day 34. Guess what? If they didn't have time to write it down or anything, they can always resort back to the library they created on their Instagram pictures. Those are the dudes that, as if you're just a cannabis grower and you're looking for seeds, those are the guys you want to look for. Not some person that mysteriously, out of nowhere, posts a picture of day, 56 flower, but he's never posted a picture of that plant before. That person's clearly growing something else, or he's not, doesn't have any pride in the work. I mean, how many, like real good guys like Jimmy, you'll see them right from seed to finish. And again, like you said, if you hit him up, he'll tell you all the data. He knows right away.
Well, he'll show you multiple people growing the same strain too, right? Like you go through his IG, you'll see a bunch of different people growing the same stuff, and he's posting up, hey. So if you care enough to like look into it and find out where each of these people live, then you can also see, okay, maybe this person lives up relatively close to me geographically. Okay, maybe that is a rough idea of what that might look like in my area.
Well, okay, I want to get back to a point before I forget it here too. If your mom's buying seeds, just shoot me the address and I'll gladly ship those F1s off when they're ready.
Well, see, this is the thing, is a pollen chucker myself, right? And it's like you give her seeds, and she's just like, no, I'd rather pay money for them, right? Like it's
well, then send them to your address and tell her they were $100. Find a workaround.
Yeah.
But
I actually just sent my dad some Hunza Valley Pakistanis there, and he says he's got
nice
80% germ rate on those.
Nice. Yeah, I just had to comment on that because I don't like seeing our elders having to fucking pay a boatload for seeds.
Well, it makes me wonder, like, because I go up to them, like when we started this podcast, we start meeting breeders and like people with huge seed collections from all over. I kind of would brag to them a little bit, like, holy shit, like I got access to a lot of really good stuff. And it's almost like it's when they used to talk to me as a teenager, in one ear and out the fucking other, because they just don't, like, it doesn't even occur to just, hey, like, ask over this direction, right? Because we can source some really good stuff. I guarantee, like, if I were to put the call out and be like, hey, yo, I wanted to like knock my parents flat, killer weed, I bet you I could have like half a dozen people just be like, you're just one of them, right? You just said, hey, fuck, send me their address, I'll send them some beans, like it's that easy. Like we're that forthcoming that we're within the community itself. You don't even have to pay for beans a lot of the time. When you get into the friend level of things, right?
That happens all the time. Anyway,
start swapping.
Keep your discussion going quick. I just got to dip out for a bathroom break real quick. I'll be
totally
right
understandable. No worries.
All right.
How's trim gel coming along, GB? Oh, do you got to stretch out? No, you got a good, easy within reach to unmute?
No, I'm good to go, man. Just fucking head down, man. Fucking
trooper.
Is that the Banana Daddy? The worst, as chat says, the worst name in cannabis currently trimmed currently.
It's looking like it's gonna be all right, man. It's this stuff's early, but it still looks pretty good, and we got a bunch still out on the plant, so we'll be all right with it. This will just be a little. Hopefully, it's a little lighter on the smoke.
He looks exhausted now. Wait till you see him about fucking mid-November.
Well, I'm good to go. Sorry, I just get resting bitch face, man. I have that hardcore. So
you get the RBF when you're trimming?
Oh fuck yeah, big time. So
you need to smoke more or whatever the fuck you trimming then.
Well, I was smoking. Maybe that's, I don't know. We'll see.
That is actually a good point. I got wrapped up in the conversation here, and man, I want to. I know he's not here tonight. I don't know what happened because he was going to be here with Jimmy, but I want to shout out to him because he's bringing us a lot of new friends that I really enjoy. Like as soon as Endo Pharms, like Fluff, I think he had family that night or whatever when he was supposed to be on. But like he jumped on for like the last 20 minutes or whatever. It's like instantly just one of those dudes that just fits right in just by like the way they talk and shit. And you're just like, yeah, fuck, this will be fun to dive deep with him. And the fact that he's in Canada means you were like fucking so fucking heavily outnumbered now. Remember back in the day when it was like just me or, like it's, and like a lot of Americans
the
up
only
there.
Fucking American left on this bitch.
Well, sometimes Thunderdown and Kingfisher.
They're in chat all the time, and that's great and that's wonderful, but they're fucking not up here helping me on the regular. God damn it.
What about Colton on Tuesday mornings? He's practically American.
He's close. He's very close to fucking American. He's the closest thing I get. I mean, high and tight, he gets to show up every once in a while. So every once in a while, I at least get that too. But it's rough. It's getting rough nowadays for the fucking American.
No doubt about it.
Oh,
Tell you about it. Fucking pretty soon, I'm gonna fucking be haying and a booting about fucking everything.
Oh, you guys making fun of me for being Canadian?
No.
I'm the only fucking non-Canadian here.
The opposite. We're
Yeah,
teaming up with the lone American here.
I'm actually from Minnesota, but I lived in my whole life in
You've
Canada.
been a Youper your whole life. I hear it.
Yeah, I got soda pops on the rooftop with my auntie. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. What projects are you guys working on? Or are you just growing?
I'm just growing at the moment.
Right now, I'm just growing. I decided to shut the breeding down just because I have to for a bit, but I'm going to take that time to run through some of the projects that I've done. And because you know how like anytime you have one breeding project in mind, but you'll throw a bunch of other females in that room with that male, right? Just because why not? And a lot of the times you don't get to that shit, so I'm getting to that shit. So I just mentioned like the Pakistanis that I sent to my dad. Fluff there in the corner beside you, he made a cross called Bambalam, which is a pretty fucking ass kicker. If you want to ruin your day and just like watch movies with the old lady, it's a great strain for that. So okay, well let's run it in and see what we can do with that Hunza Valley in there and see what that looks like.
What's the cross on that? What's it called? Bambalam?
Yeah.
What's the cross on that?
So that's one that I was working on. And that is what is kind of the current project that I'm doing, and it's a cross of one that a guy in our community did that we named Black Forest, which was a what was that? It was gelato by or not gelato. Jesus Christ. I'm stoned today. Anyways, it ended up being the one called Black Forest, and we crossed it to another one that was, I believe it was a Missouri. Was he a Missouri breeder or Kansas City breeder? Called the Sideways Betty. There's a lot of fucking baklava. Jesus Christ, thank you, Kingfisher. So the baklava crossed to Pinky Promise from Jinx Proof was the Black Forest. So.
You gotta hit me up with that. I wouldn't mind having some seeds of that to pop right away.
Yeah,
I'm trying to broaden out a little bit and try and grow from some different regions, see what other people are working with, and have a little fun with it. Like I said, this year I would never normally grow that acai gelato, but so far it's been a lot of fun.
See, the reason this one was hunted out was the original Black Forest, man, it came with just a lemon pine cleaner, like that fucking lemon pine saw you used to clean your house with, and then you maybe with a little gas behind it, little funk, and that's what that shit really did. Fucking that's what that original Black Forest smelled like. The current phenos that I am holding on to for that Black Forest is very much on the gelato side. It's got that sweet, gassy, that complex fruity. I can't nail down. We'll call it berry. Would be the closest thing I would say, but it's just a sweet fruity. And it's got just a nice heavy gas to it. That's the pheno that I currently hold on to, and it's the one that it's working great until I get the right one, which we're hunting that currently. So,
Well, when it's berry and you can't describe it, you know what it is? 7 out of 10 times is blackberry.
well, so it doesn't have that like astringent blackberry like. Yeah, I guess it's only because I've had blackberries around enough to know a blackberry.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I know what you mean on that one, but I definitely I could pick that one out. I wish there's somebody actually. I get a lot of shit about not growing a blackberry. That's around the community of ours right now.
Oh, you shut up, 2 cents. We don't need you starting in the live
I was
chat.
gonna say, where's him with his blackberry fuel?
Right?
Oh yeah, no, look at you just started something, Fluff. It's
We're looking at you.
I can
Too,
hear
Shut
the
the
laughter
fuck
now.
up.
That's funny.
he's a serial harasser, and we love him dearly.
Oh, he's good at it too.
Oh, and he's gone.
Hey, you hit the wrong button. He saw that fucking red one and said, "Fuck this shit. I'm out of
He
here."
heard serial harass and was like, "I'm the fuck out."
You will not fucking.
You're not tonight.
Well, shit.
I'm sure he'll be back.
We got him successfully fucking twice now. We'll get him back again.
That worked out really well. If I would have finally got him on, I'm glad. I'm a great dude so far. I'm interested in his stuff. The fact that he's able to work with the Alaskan Thunderfuck, because I've played with it once, Fluff, and same results as what you were talking, where it ate hermed on me. And I just wasn't able to. I think I still have a bunch of those seeds actually kicking around somewhere for when I'm able to go back. Because I think in my case, growing conditions, I can apply to that. So it was, it's.
I just wish I could have. I know I had decent conditions, things like this. I did not have a known genetic. I had something in a bag that said it was Alaskan Thunderfuck that said it possibly came from here. So, we weren't dealing. We were dealing with what might possibly be.
That's actually another good point. I don't know where my seed came from either. It was just from a buddy who I trust him, but this was in the early days of growing. So kind of like what I was talking about, how my mom gets some seeds on some random website. That was kind of how we bought seeds online. Was before we knew about this cannabis community through like Instagram, podcasting, things like Irie Genetics to get you going, Ethos, and all those guys. Right, like it was. Yeah.
Top dog. Shit
Yeah,
like
another great one. Hell yeah.
You guys remember the days of meat and potatoes? Have you been growing long enough to remember that?
No.
When all the hydro growers started adding their product to the brick hash? I'm sure some people in the chat gotta know what the fuck I'm referring to. That's
No.
like 90s shit.
Okay, that's way before my time as a grower there. That's like so bad. That's high school for me. I remember the one time having my dad caught me trying to grow a plant in my bedroom, and let's just say that was the last time I tried that on his property until I was well into my adulthood.
The 90s was the heydays of me putting shit in fucking every forest I could fucking figure out how to get to, and figuring out how to make it to the finish line with just enough to hopefully have enough to do it again next season. So there wasn't a whole lot of fucking around with hydro for me back then.
Yeah, I don't fuck around with hydro. All my grows have been pretty simple. Like I was influenced by my grandpa. So we had a big garden when I was a little kid, and he was growing. So my first introduction is like 4 years old. Like I was out in the garden around 4. which was pretty dope. Because he's a real respectable man, built churches here, started minor hockey league, minor baseball, and everyone just kind of fucking left him alone because he was doing too much good for the community. But meanwhile, we had this garden, and Grandpa was teaching young Endo how to fucking do shit. It was pretty sick. It was all just collected rain. I don't even know where they would have got seeds from, but well, my grandpa fought in the war, so I think he might have brought stuff back from there.
That's interesting. See, I wish, like, given how fascinated I was with cannabis back in high school, if somebody would have, like a grower, would have taken me under their wing and kind of fostered that interest, it makes me wonder all the shoulda, woulda, couldas that never were, because it's. As soon as I got into the adult years and started smoking it again, there's a hiatus where I quit, but it immediately started growing. And like, this is, I'm one of those ADHD guys that I could start a new hobby every week and go out and blow all your saved money on that new hobby. And it used to drive my ex-wife fucking nuts. And then once I started growing cannabis, though, all those hobbies that used to drive her nuts, they went away. This hobby stayed.
Yeah. That's cool to hear, though.
Yeah. Actually, it was like, she doesn't have much nice to say about me this day and age, I can assure you. But that is one thing that she probably would still agree with. Like how it was like finally when it settled me down, and you talk to a lot of people in this community, and it's a similar thing. Like it makes me, that Fast and the Furious movie where they're at the computer screen and they're talking about like, oh, what is it about cars? And he's just like, I don't know, ADHD. Somehow I can focus on this.
Yeah, it's a thing that doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, I've ran through a couple exes. I got 4 kids. And they were pretty supportive, but I'm lucky enough now to be with a girl that fucking knows what's up, and she just 100% supportive. She gets the passion for it and stuff. It's probably one of your most valuable tools, And my 2 youngest kids all 4 kids have been, growing up learning about cannabis. But my 2 youngest kids partake in growing their own strains for fun. And, they got their couple selected plants, usually not this season, but usually, they have a couple plants each that they tend to and see how they grow. And they have their problems. And then Dad tells them, like, this might be wrong. This might be what's right. Try to figure it out, and they got their own little gardens going on, so. And they do good with it. It's awesome. It makes me super proud, but that's one of the cool things about cannabis. It can really bring a lot of people together. The people that it tears apart, I guess, just kind of probably have a negative influence on life in general, like a very poor perspective of how things work. It's usually miserable people.
Good point.
Dude, if you want to grow roses, have at it. Who wouldn't support it? So,
you might actually be a little surprised how fucked up it gets. And then, we used to laugh a lot. We used to have to go to like psych evals and shit when we would go work at like nuclear power facilities and things like this. You got to get a psych eval, and they would actually for men who garden, they pick you out and they find that to be a fucking factor, for like people with issues. Like every avid gardener that I knew in those powerhouses got fucking picked out for second evals and re-evals and shit like that because and they were asking like offensive fucking questions like do you have a good relationship with your parents? Like, yeah, what the fuck does that have to do with me fucking liking to grow a fucking flower, dude? But
I can kind of tell you where some of that comes. So like if you go back on my history, like I graduated at like age 16. By age 18 or 19, I was a registered nutritional consultant practitioner. And I was doing that, and I was developing supplements, and I was also ended up working for pharmaceutical companies in drug formulations, medication formulations, and I also worked a lot in psychology. And one of the things that tips you off in psychology is that when someone gardens, they're finding their peace. So there must be something on the opposite end that's driving them nuts. That's kind of the layman terms of how they're thinking about it. Because generally speaking, as long as you weren't grown up in a concrete jungle, most people that are healthy or even unhealthy tend to find their peace in nature. Those are just the odds. So when you say that I love growing my garden or whatever, it's a red flag to a psychiatrist or psychologist that what's going on the other side that you're seeking out peace. When really the answer is you're doing good if you're seeking out peace.
Right. So at the time, like, I had one buddy who literally, like, he loved fucking flowers. Like, that's what he did. He grew flowers. I was an avid vegetable gardener, like, so we had, a couple more guys, who just, they answered the question honestly, like some of us other ones also, maybe they gardened a few other things, but it did not fail that every single male in there that was an avid gardener did get called in, and like we said, we all found it real fucking offensive. We're just like, right, fuck you guys. And like you said, you're looking at peace and things, and for like my one buddy, that was kind of that was his peace. He loved his fucking garden. He'd get out there, and that was just his happy spot. And for me, it was like to fucking eat, and I like good food. And, the only way to do that is to fucking grow it your damn self. So,
well, and here's the other aspect, though, that you might be missing is that the other people that study psychology and do these evaluations aren't happy with their own life. So a lot of times what they're going through in their evaluation are like red flag check marks, but they're also things that tip them off that they're not happy about. Does that make sense to you guys? It's kind of projecting their own securities onto you.
Well, to put myself in that kind of situation, I couldn't possibly sit there and listen to people bitch and whine about their problems all day long. That would drive me batshit crazy before the first person was done, I think. Like, so you think that I've got a low tolerance to that kind of thing, so I'll be the first to put that out there. But I think that to just listen to that all day long, helping people with these problems, I would think that would, yeah.
Hey guys, I'm just looking at the chat on my other phone. Is my mic way too loud?
We're not sure what issues that might. Do you have like going on YouTube in the background or anything?
No.
Okay, because there's something going on where we can hear ourselves a little bit coming through your screen.
Yeah, usually it's either you don't have a headphones type thing, or when you have a case on your phone, a lot of times the mic and the fucking cameras and things, they get all fuckery.
Well, I just went through and turned the volume down. See if that helps.
That very well could. Sometimes it is.
Yeah, and I apologize to anyone watching. I didn't realize that was happening. So
it's all good, man. We're
it got worse after the second time you connected back through. It was there a little bit through the beginning, but when you came back here this last time, it seemed to be just a touch louder. As long as we don't talk around when you are, it's usually okay, I think.
Cool. You guys got lots of people in the chat tonight?
There's 42 of them right now.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. So how long has this podcast been going for?
For about 4 years now.
No way. I didn't know that, man. Congrats to you for sticking by it and trying to make it work. That's fucking cool.
Thank you. We have a lot of fun with it, but it's not always easy either.
Per year, it's awesome.
Yeah, you guys
realize that, man. We are killing it in these numbers.
Oh, you guys do a good job with it, though. You're a fun group. I'd join anytime, dude. Anytime I have free time, I'd be glad to jump on. It's always nice to be talking to like-minded people, right? And seeing who your viewership is and stuff.
Well,
Exactly.
that's how all this started, though, because it's like in my area, we don't know. I don't know anybody to grow and talk with and have these conversations, especially as a new grower at that time, newish grower. Where you can grow good weed, but you try and take your shit to that next level, right? How do you do that? There's nobody to ask questions, so you start putting videos out online. And then thanks to Cannabuzz, I don't know if you ever heard of that app out there. It's like Facebook for potheads, basically, and was awesome. And that's where a lot of us kind of congregated and met. This used to be like a 9 to 12 person panel on a Tuesday night, oftentimes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was, but then it was also a product born of COVID. Where you had a whole bunch of people sitting around and way too much time on their hands. And then, after about a year or so, people had to start going back to work and real life was involved.
But it's a cool channel, though. I mean, I like that you do some other things, too, which is really friggin' cool. But it's, every once in a while, I mean, I've been on a lot of YouTube shows. Well, not a lot. I mean, like 15 or something like that. And they've been fun. Like, I used to go on Eagle Gardens. I don't know if you guys remember him or know him.
Oh, yeah.
But, I'd go on there and do like 4 or 5 hour long shows with him. And it was a lot of fun, but that was the COVID time too, right?
Fucking, you'd only do a 5-hour show with him? I fucking remember going to like hanging out like for 2-3 hours with fucking Eagle, going to bed, waking up, that motherfucker still being on, going to work, and I think he'd still be on after I got off of work.
Dude, I went on there on 7 grams of mushrooms, golden teachers, and did 5-6 hours. And if you watch the episode, dude, I drank like 15 Gatorades. It was hilarious. But that one was kind of, it might have been that one, or it might have been the first one I done. I don't know. Because generally speaking, because I'm a registered nutritional consultant practitioner, product formulator, geneticist, I was answering a shit ton of health related questions during that time, like supplementation, what drugs you can use, why they work, why they don't work, which ones to stay away from. Like, as we get to know each other, you guys will see I'm like very multifaceted. But that comes from me. I know you, Caribou, you mentioned ADHD. Like, I have full blown high functioning Asperger's. So I'm like an Elon Musk of the fucking weed game. So that's kind of fun too, right? It's kind of fun. So I'd go through and answer all these health related questions and stuff, and that was a lot of fun. But then again, you got to look at, like, if you go back to the history of my IG, like, I'd have 50,000 followers, 45,000 followers.
So being a nutritionalist, are you now realizing the errors of your ways of drinking like 15 Gatorades while high on 7 fucking grams of mushrooms?
Oh, no, I got it. I'll be the first person to admit I can be a huge hypocrite. I'll sit back, drink a 12-pack of beer, and chain smoke
I just thought about that number and I was like, fuck, that's a lot of salt.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of sodium, but I mean, that's
Your
a heroic.
electrolytes are just fucking out of the fucking.
But it's, dude, I was high as fuck. You know what I mean? You're not.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel you.
But the thing about me is, I have so much knowledge, and I go through ebbs and flows of following my own advice, and then being the world's biggest hypocrite. I'll crush a 6-pack of beer and be chain smoking cigs. You know what I mean? I'm not going to pretend to be Mr. fucking 100% health, but I could tell you everything you need to know about health, and then I go through phases where I do that too.
See, but to me, like, I think I to each their own, but like the people that are all full on health all the time, are oftentimes annoying because there becomes an ego that goes with it, right? And it's
Well,
just
see,
like, I appreciate that, but don't want to eat like cardboard. I like flavor stuff, which oftentimes we eat. I work hard physically, right? So I can't eat garbage because my body will feel like shit. So I don't fully get that you having to eat properly and stuff like that. But at the same time, you know what? Candy fucking tastes good. So
well,
ice.
you hit the nail on the head. But that's the thing about me is like I know all. My level of knowledge far exceeds most people. But at the end of the day, I like to have fun and live and enjoy life. So I don't preach on anyone, but I'll certainly, when they come to me with like illness, ailment, disease, I'll certainly guide them in the right direction. I have no problem doing that. But if you look at my page on IG, it's full of all sorts of good food, bad food, fun times with my family, fishing, hunting, it's all things. But I'm non-judgmental. You know what I mean? I'm here to live life and have fun,
I hear that.
you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I go with ebbs and flows. I'll go through a 6-month health spurt, and then I'll go through a 4-month spurt of I don't give a fuck. It's just how I am. It's how I'm wired.
I like it, man. I can totally get down with that. It's just it's like, you know how sometimes when people talk, you can almost like you hear yourself talking. And I know, like I fully get you.
Well, I mean, like, even if you go back to I don't know if you can say it now on YouTube or not, because there was a time where you couldn't, but if you go back to the COVID times, I remember in the first week, I was like, anyone that was on my channel, and this was before I was banned a bunch on, going back to how many followers I was banned like 8 times. So that's when I was like, fuck this, I got to go private and only let certain people in. But anyone watching this, if you want to follow me, I'll accept it. But I told everyone during the COVID times, I was like, you need to go get a supplement called NAC, which is an amino acid called N-acetylcysteine. I said, start taking that or at least have it on hand. And so many of my followers got sick with COVID, took that and had crazy good results. But it was like 5 or 6 months into COVID that the United States government started banning it. So I was like, well, it's not banned in Canada yet, so now it's to the point where maybe you shouldn't just take it. You should have a couple bottles on hand in case you have any of these weird lung infections, bacterial disease, glutathione type issues. Just have it on hand. It's cheap. It's effective. Have you ever heard of anyone overdosing on Tylenol?
No, I've been told that it's if you take too much, it's bad for your kidneys and shit, but I don't know anybody that's ever actually died from taking it.
Well, it'll shut down your liver. And what they give you in the hospital is a drug called acetidose. And it will kick you right out of liver failure. And all that the drug acetidose is injectable NAC.
Okay.
It's just an amino acid. It's like $15 a bottle. You should always have it on hand. Might save your life.
That's interesting. Thanks for that.
Write it down. Get some. But I won't preach about it. But yeah, like did you guys ever go through any of the Instagram ban?
I've had not to deal with it.
I didn't even start one up until not that so god awful long. I don't know, midway through fucking COVID or some shit. So no, I never had to worry about it.
Yeah, I bet you Blackbird has. It was a weird time during COVID. They were hitting the ban hammer on a lot of like over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It was crazy. At one point, you could barely I mean, you started to question, like, who's paying money to be on IG? Like, why are these big guys not getting touched and all us craft guys are getting hammered? You know what I mean? Nowadays, even I'm sure, well, like, obviously you guys aren't having a problem, but at least for me, I have to be careful of my language on IG. I can't say, like, hit me up for seeds, you'll be banned immediately.
Yeah, we don't try, at least myself personally, don't try to push anything like that beyond like it's just pictures of what we have growing and stuff like that. It seems like everyone we know, once they try to operate any kind of cannabis-based business, they just get fucking nuked.
Oh, yeah, it happens. It happens, but I mean, like,
They
for
wait
us,
until you link your PayPal, your Cash App, and you got all your fucking money sitting there, and then they go, "Oh yeah, by the way, that's ours now."
oh, yeah, that happened to me twice, too. That happened to me, too. And it's so funny because if you look at my page, it's pretty friggin' wholesome, man. It's pretty wholesome. I try to make my page nowadays like kind of like telling us a good story. Like went golfing, caught some trout, cooking dinner. You know what I mean? And then there's just happens to be cannabis sprouted throughout there. But it still doesn't get you away from the ban hammer, which is funny.
No, not a lot of fucking. Gee.
Hey G Bay, what are you trimming up?
This is Banana Daddy times Black Widow.
Oh, that's where I heard Black Widow. Black Widow's a good strain to breed with.
So it's a little bit early, some outdoor, but I had a storm come through the other week and kind of screwed me over a bit and took some branches down. So
Hold it up again. Let's take a look at that again. Big screen.
Oh yeah, nice.
yeah, it's got some. It's not too squishy, right? So there's some stuff in there once I get it cleaned up. Got a tray full of it.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's tons left out there, man. We got a couple more weeks I need, but it's been cold and wet. So
Yeah, you got to watch out for that mold, eh?
yeah, same story every year.
Yeah, that's the same as the area that I'm in. Hey, if you did the calculation, we basically have like 103-day growth schedule.
Yeah, I'm just on the opposite end of the Great Lakes than you. South end of Lake Huron, basically.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're not that far away from my kid. He's in Sudbury.
Okay, yeah, I'm south of Sudbury a couple hours. Georgian Bay.
Oh, cool. Cool. Maybe I could pop in there sometime when I'm down there.
Hell yeah, brother.
That'd be sick.
Fuck yeah. Sit in the garden and puff one.
But yeah, I can see that White Widow that's a good yield there, eh? Seems like anything crossed to White Widow yields real good.
Well, there was a Black Widow cross our buddy did. He did a fem run of Black Widow to a couple different things. A lot of them turned to fire. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever grown anything from Black Pack seeds?
I'm not sure I've even heard of them before.
Oh, he's the dude you got to check out, man.
Okay.
Amazing breeder.
Is he on Instagram?
Yeah. He kind of dips in and dips out, though, so he's can be hard to get a hold of at times, but he makes some unbelievably good crosses.
Nice.
Sounds good. All right. What's the name on that one again? I'm searching them up right now.
Oh shit, what did I just say? Now I'm blanking.
Black dog or something like that.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
Black
We
dog.
locked him up. Somebody get this guy down quick.
Shit, I can't remember what I even just said. I'll have to rewind the tape to see it. Oh, pardon me, I got it. Black Pack seeds.
Black Pack, there we go. I knew it had black in it. Somewhere.
Yeah, he's a sneaky good breeder. Like you won't see him promote. He's just one of those dudes doing it for the love, but he's a crazy talented breeder.
There, I just found him. Gave him a follow.
Yeah, if you ever decide to get seeds from him, I can guarantee you 100% you're not going to be disappointed.
Okay.
With some real unique stuff too. Things that other people aren't doing.
Let's see if I can do this. Did I manage to do this on the fly? There's post his IG link in the chat there if anyone wants to click that up. And
Yeah, all chat follow. Give him a fucking 50 follower wave overnight.
Yeah. Give me that too. Give me that too. Have to chat with the new people. See what's up.
The whole Canvas channel following.
I miss the day where I used to be able to do Instagram lives and get like 1,000 people in there and have a blast. Can't do it no more though. It gets shut down right away.
yeah, Instagram's a bit of a bummer.
Part of it's my own fault. I'll take the blame for that. But it was during COVID. I think it was like UFC 290 or something. I did an Instagram live and set my camera down so it was filming me and the TV so people could watch it without a fucking paying for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You know, for the people.
Yeah. That's the kind of shit that, Dana White needs his money, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
but do you guys have plans on like what type of projects you're doing coming up into winter here, or?
just the Bambalan by Pakistanis that I was talking about in the real near future. I'm going to kind of run through the stuff I have right now and just see what I like in there. Hold on some of that before I pop into anything new. How about yourself?
Well, I'm running through mentally about 10 different strains right now of what project I really want to work next and like what will also coincide with this current project. But I'm really thinking of going back to that black Afghani that I F2'd and F3'd and just had crazy good results, and be bringing back some of the deep chunk crosses and kind of reworking that stuff for the winter and trying to figure out if I missed some winners. Have you guys ever had the deep chunk? It's insane.
No, I've heard a lot about it, and in fact, I saw it got brought up when we were talking about earlier on the show. And a live chat lit up talking about that for a bit, talking about it's a pretty dominant plant that likes to show itself up in the progeny.
Oh, the chat's talking about it, then that's a good sign. Yeah. For the people watching, I can't see the chat, so I don't know. But yeah, I had a lot of fun working a line. I did 7 or 8 different crosses with deep chunk, and they were all like phenomenal strains. But it's a very different terp profile. Gets away from the fruity stuff. It's it's a lot more hashy coffee terps. Fantastic resin production. If you're into pressing your own sauces and whatnot, then deep chunk's an amazing strain.
Okay.
But it's a good yielder too. It's not super high on the THC, but like when you couple in all the other cannabinoids, it'll flatten you pretty good.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Okay. I like the sounds of that.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, have you ever had legit hash plant?
I've had what I've been told is hash plant, so I can't say I have.
Well, you're legit. What you've been told, legit hash plant. What do you think of it?
I enjoyed it. Very resiny. Like freaking always good flavor stuff. So, I'm a fan of it.
Cool.
Now, the reason were to hand me something that actually is legit hash plant, I'd love to be able to say I don't, because like I said, the places where I've gotten it from before is a known white label company. So it's who knows, right?
Well, the point I'm getting to is like legit hash plant only measures out to like 16% THC.
Yep.
But it'll fucking knock your socks off pretty good. And the point being, like, you got to look at the cannabinoid and terpene content of plants, you know, to be able to distinguish winners and what's good smoke. It's kind of funny, you know. A lot of long time vets in the cannabis game will still get their head rocked off by some good hash plant that's only measuring out at 16% THC.
We say all the time around here, no, we couldn't care less about the THC content, really. You laugh if you're ever forced to go into a dispensary, you just laugh at the person behind the counter when they come over and say, well, this one has 28%. It's like, stop talking, just stop. What has flavor? You know, yeah. I'm a big believer in cannabinoid content.
398 Bubba is usually about 18%. I'm just fucking flat, a motherfucker. So,
Oh, dude, yeah, I agree. A lot of Bubba and like Bubba outcrosses and stuff. Bubba's a favorite of mine. Yeah, they'll knock you. They'll knock you.
Yeah, it's pretty
You know,
intense.
another overlooked one is Black Domina. I
got
did
some Granddaddy Black hanging right now, which is Black Domina crossed out.
You'll enjoy that for sure, man. What you get from the Black Domina is like just to be honest here, it's the closest plant I've ever had to being a narcotic. What I consider narcotic.
That's cool.
So I grew out a bunch of marijuana crosses, and when I found a keeper male of marijuana, crossed it back to the Black Domina because I was looking again for that narcotic effect, and I just called it Black Tar. I never really marketed it or sold it much. You know, I gave a bunch away or whatever, but it's the closest thing I would say to like a truly narcotic cannabis strain.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, and the reason I was doing that at the time is because I had broke my leg in half in 2018. Oh, I fell into a 10, 12-foot trench at work and landed with my leg straight, broke my leg backwards. And that's kind of what it gave me, you know, the motivation to look for heavy narcotic strains.
Let's see that. I hate to cut you off. I'm looking at the time here, and we're actually in the overtime here. About time to start wrapping stuff up. But I feel like this also leaves us a good point to bring you back again sometime in the near future and do this again. And I feel like we're also just kind of starting to get rolling here too.
Yeah, well, anytime, man. Anytime I got the free time and you guys invite me, you guys are rad dudes. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Fuck yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be reaching out to you here in the near future and see if we can't bring you back in the next. Not long at all. Might hear back on a few people about some dates, and once I do that, then we can look at penciling you back in. Maybe Jimmy will be around for that one as well. It'd be great to get him back. He's always a good time. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thanks for the persistence and not just being like, fuck these guys with the tech issues and stuff like that. We appreciate that. And we'll always get you in, man. And it might not always work the first time, but we'll keep at it, get you in the door.
Well, I figured it out now, so it won't be a problem. But thanks again for having me, guys. I appreciate it. You guys are all solid dudes. And, you know, thanks again for having me. And anyone in the chat, thanks for being involved in this podcast, man. All the support you guys can give to the podcast, we all appreciate it.
That's very true. Words could not be spoken at the moment. Yeah, live chat. Thank you so much for the support that he was just talking about. You know, it means the world to us. And But I love the fact that we're able to bring new breeders and attention to people too. And hopefully we can push some sales your way as well. That'd be amazing. With that, you know what time it is, folks. We're gonna rock and roll for you because we got some freaking sacred cuts now that you cannot find on Spotify anymore because we're awesome like that. Let's get out of here.
Take me down to the graveyard, show me a resting place. Take this worry away from me, my final bed to lay. I need asylum, imprisoned, forgotten and buried, forgotten and buried. Well, I get so nervous thinking about the future, 'cause I've been wrong before. Heaven never warned you of the joys of hell. The world can get so manic, silence sits so well. I need asylum, imprisoned, forgotten and married, forgotten and married. I get so nervous thinking about the future, 'cause I've been wrong before. Myself a coffin and I dug myself a hole. The pain I had buried me. The youth that want me turned me cold. I need asylum, imprisoned, forgotten and buried, forgotten and buried. Well, I get so nervous thinking about the future, 'cause I've been wrong before. Well, I get so nervous thinking about the future, 'cause I've been wrong before. Well, I get so nervous thinking about the future, I've been wrong before. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel so wrong. I feel so wrong. I've been so wrong. I've been so wrong. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, my old lady was like cooking. I didn't eat all day long. All I got was a sandwich like all day today. I was eating. So you're sitting here talking and it smells fucking delicious. She's making butter chicken. As soon as I hit play on that song, I fucking were screaming downstairs, get myself a bowl of butter chicken. I've gotten 3/4 of that bowl fucking just like mowed down before the fucking ending credits could end.
So
This
close.
is amazing. You have no idea how much happiness is in my tummy right now. It's amazing.
Get her done.
Shout out to Endo Pharms for hanging out with us tonight. That was a great conversation. Had an awesome time, brother. Hayden, be reaching out soon. Fluff, you're just crying. He's all emotional. That's how good of an interview was. You see those tears streaming down.
That one hurt.
D-Bay, hardworking man. It starts early for you, unfortunately, my
Click
brother.
the fucking button.
My camera did something. I don't know. So that's what we're looking at.
He's not gonna do it now. He's just not gonna do it. He's like.